Hi everyone, I am Rachel Jones, and today I'm going to be going over track 1 of the software peer assessment, formerly known as Edulastic. So what is peer assessment? Peer assessment is a tool that assists educators in creating and aligning and grading assessments in a variety of ways. How is it used in the classroom? Students are able to access peer assessment through Canvas, and they are able to complete different types of assessments. And how does it benefit students? Students are able to receive instant and immediate feedback and results, and they're also able to build up their online test-taking strategies. One thing about peer assessment that's super cool is that it is in line with the CASP, and so what they see on their screen models a similar format for what they see when they take the state test. So going and getting logged on to peer assessment here. They are also linked, like I said, they are formerly known as Edulastic, and so they are now currently under the umbrella of Pear Deck. But if you go over here and go to Login, you're going to click on Peer Assessment. And it's going to go ahead and log you in if you have an account. Now, my school site, we use peer assessment in my grade level in 3rd grade. We use it a lot. And so this is my actual dashboard here. And so you'll see this is my class here. And what's really cool is I'm also able to have access to my co-teachers as well. So we all collaborate together. So when we create assessments, we don't just assign to our class, we can assign it to their classrooms as well. Looking on this side here, we have our dashboard, which is like their homepage. We have assignments, so you can view all the assignments that you've previously given to your students in the progress. Their Insight and Data Studio, those are their premium features. And then down here under Library, their Item Bank and Test is really where the magic happens here. So when you go down to Test and you click on Test here, you are able to select the specific grade level that you would like to look at. And they actually have pre-created assessments for you created by other teachers and peer assessment themselves. And so if you find something that you are wanting to focus on, for example, multiplication facts or smarter balance, really working on that state test prep, you can actually assign those to your students. If you're wanting to create one of your own, which is my personal favorite, you can go over here to where the new test is. Their premium feature also offers creating tests with AI. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the new test. When I click on new test, I have a couple different options. I can do a snap quiz where I can upload a PDF and create a quiz that way, or I can also make one from scratch. So when I click on make one from scratch, they will prompt, they have item questions that, again, other educators and peer assessment has created. But if you're wanting to create your own, which is my favorite part, you're going to go over here to the create a new item. When you click on this, you have a variety of questions that you can ask your students. And so it's a lot different from the kind of old school paper pencil where they just have multiple choice, maybe a written, and that's it. They have a lot more of a variety here for our students to test on. So these are all the multiple choice selection. They have fill in the blank. They have classify, match, and order, writing, passage, highlighting, math, graphing, charts, multi-part, and instructions. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be going over multiple choice and passage. Starting with the multiple choice, we're going to just go with the standard one here. You're going to click on that, and it'll bring you up to where you can start writing your question. So in this text box here, I'm going to write in what I want to ask my students. We're working on areas, so we're going to have an area question. So I've typed my question. Here I can either bold, italicize, underline, I can add a video, I can change the text size, the coloring, the orientation, and I can also insert images. So I'm going to go ahead and insert an image. And then I'm actually able to resize it. So if I feel that it needs to be larger or if I need to be smaller, I can go ahead and position it to where I feel that needs to be for my students. Then down under here, I'm going to go ahead and put in what the correct answer should be, or the selection. So I might say 12, 14, 16, and 18. I'm going to click on the correct answer, and then I'm going to come over here to this tab that says preview mode. This is what my students will see, and so if I notice that, oh my gosh, that was way too big, I need to resize that, I can go back to the edit mode and I can adjust that for my students. After I figured out my adjusting, I'm going to head over to the 3rd tab, and this is where I'm able to really look into the standards and see how I'm aligning that question. I'm going to click over here, I'm going to click the subject matter, so we're in math. I'm going to click on the standard sets and make sure that I'm in the correct grade level. Then I'm going to pop up here where I can go through and I can look through and identify the specific standard that I'm looking for. So here I already have it selected here that we're focusing on area within square units. I'm also able to look at the depth of knowledge, and I'm able to select the DOK level. I'm also able to select the difficulty level and Bloom's taxonomy as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit save up at the top here, and it's going to create it in a new test for me. I can then go on to add from the library, so things that other people have created, or I can again create my own. So I'm going to create another one. We're going to look at the passage side here. When I click on the passage side, this is my personal favorite because I'm able to upload a passage on one side, have a question on the other. And this is really important when looking at building up that muscle memory from taking tests online and having that structure be similar for them when they encounter the state test later on. So I'm going to say add passage. I'm going to put my heading in. So we're focusing on text features, the title, then I'm going to go ahead and enter in my content or the passage that I want. Now I'm taking this from a Word document, and so it registers that, and so you can just say go ahead and keep, and it'll bring it straight over to you. You can preview how it will pop up, and then you can hit save. And then after you hit save, you will then have access to look at the other side, which is where you'll put in your itemized question. So here you'll go ahead and enter in the question that corresponds to that passage on the left-hand side. So I'm going to say add item. Then I have all of these that I can choose from. We're going to go ahead and select one, and we're going to type in our question. I'm going to go and enter in my responses or my answer choices. And let's say, for example, I only have 3 choices. I can then go ahead and I can delete out that 4th choice, or I can add in more. I can then preview how to look for my students, and then I can go ahead and again link that standard. So then I would go ahead and change it over to ELA, make sure I have the correct grade level selected, and then I would click on the correct standard. In this case, it would be on text features. I would then go through and click on my depth of knowledge, my difficulty level, and Bloom's taxonomy, and then I would hit save. Now this one will pop up side by side, so when you go ahead and view it in preview mode, this is exactly how students will see it. You can then go through and you can actually add on more questions if you are asking questions that relate to the same text. I'm then going to go ahead and hit save, and then it'll bring me back to my test. When I'm done, I can either assign it to my class, publish it, or just save it, and then I can come back to it later on if I ever need to work on it again. So I'm going to take you back to my dashboard. I'm going to take you back to my dashboard here so you can see as students are taking a test, you can see in real time how they are performing. So I'm going to go and click on my class. I am going to hide my students' names just because this is a live document. But you would see down here, this is where you would see a list of all of your students, and you get to see in time how they are performing on each question as they answer it. This is a snapshot of the class, so you can see that 66%, we have a 66% average score. And then I can look specifically at each question. So I can see here for number 1, 15 got it correct, 6 did not. And I can actually see how much time they spent on each question there. So I can see if that's affecting their performance in any way. And that's where you see this line fluctuate here. If you were to click on students, you'll be able to view them specifically by the student, how they performed, or by question. You could also look at it that way as well. Then when you are ready to return the test back to students, you're going to click up here and you can either release the scores back to them, or if they have access to Canvas and they are linked that way, you can immediately share it onto Canvas and you'll get graded over that way too. So it's really combining those two platforms together to be ultimately beneficial for our students. This program has been super helpful for not only my grade level, but other grade levels amongst my site. We find it super helpful to be able to take questions that we've created based off of our standards to give to our students to make sure that that rigor is always present for all of our kiddos. I hope you found this video helpful. We'll see you later.